Hey, good morning, everybody. Just thought I would share a little bit more information on the BFF Mansion because I've been getting lots of questions about it. So just to give you a quick overview on what the whole concept is, it's really one of the reasons why I built WREN. It's getting people together to collaboratively buy a large home or a building and literally creating our own community. So call it co-housing, call it co-living, cohabitating, whatever you like. It's, getting a group of like-minded people together so that instead of going into a retirement home or struggling to own property on our own, especially for those of us who love to travel and go away for, anywhere from a week to 6 months at a time. It gives us that ease of mind, peace of mind to be sharing the property with someone. So, you've always got a partner who's looking after your property. And of course, nowadays you can make some extra income on it on all the short-term rental platforms like Airbnb and VRBO, etc. One of the great things too about when you're owner occupied, there's a lot more leniency with how you can actually do some of the shorter term rentals. So instead of just being stuck with the 30-day rentals, which are great and which I love, as an owner occupier, you can also do those shorter term rentals legally. But we'll get into that when we talk more in the detail of the actual property we're looking at. So the BFF Mansion is, surround yourself with like-minded people, like-minded friends, and have, a multi-generational, perhaps multicultural, multi-ethnic apartment building of your own or house, or whatever it is. And it's been a dream of mine for a long time. And we've been, we've had kind of versions of it over the years. And now we've got one that is really clearly exactly what I've been imagining. It's an 8-unit apartment building that we'll be purchasing. We closed in September. We have removed subjects, so we are going ahead. And we have quite a number of people committed already. So we've basically got 1 unit left if somebody is still interested in getting in on the opportunity. So what is the specific opportunity? So just out of confidentiality, please don't share this beyond yourself, because we don't necessarily want this going out in public yet, because we haven't closed on it yet. And we just want to make sure that we keep it tight to the inner circle. So it is an 8-unit apartment building. It's a purpose-built apartment building. It looks like one of those little old drive-up motels. And if you get the WREN newsletter, you will have seen pictures of it in the newsletter, because we featured it in the newsletters recently and on the Facebook pages, so you'll see it there. And it's just, it's been extremely well maintained. It's certainly livable for all of us who have looked at it. Good size units, just a great layout and a great location. And this is the key. We're really excited about this particular property because it's across the street from the beach. It's across the street from a little place, Gonzales Bay. It's just an amazing, it's one of the prettiest beaches really in Victoria, maybe on Vancouver Island for locals. And it's right across the street from this property. 500 feet away, I guess, maybe 1,000 feet away. And it's going to hold its value. And so this is one of those properties that, over time is just going to keep going up. Yes, we're in a little bit of an unknown zone right now, but we know real estate, we know over time it always goes up. If you look at the graphs, over time it always goes up. And these kinds of properties hold their value. It's a 15,000 square foot corner lot. And somebody is going to want to build something magical on that at some point in the future. And we might just want to hold on to it forever because it's such a great spot. And with us being owner occupied and being traveling, why wouldn't we want to just keep it as our retirement home and rent it out when we're not actually home? So there are 4 2-bedrooms and 4 1-bedroom units. They're all south facing. They all have tons of windows, so they're super bright. There are some plans that we have for the property, such as putting in a fence for the safety of the pets that are coming in. putting in a big long table on the front section so we can have big long table family dinners, maybe putting in a hot tub, shuffleboard, all kinds of things, closing in the garages a little bit and giving it that retro look so that it actually takes on the look that we really feel it lends itself nicely to looking like a 1950s classic motor inn. And we just think we can have so much fun with that. And people will definitely will want to come and stay with us when some of the units are empty. So the cost of the property, it was listed at 3.888, and we have it under contract at 3.6. And so if you want to just look at simple numbers, you would be getting a door, basically the equivalent of a door, and I'll explain what that means in a minute, but you're getting the equivalent of a door across from the beach in Victoria for $450,000. Now, why do I say that I want to explain that a little bit more deeply? In this scenario, you are buying into the entire building. So we are setting up a corporation, and the corporation will own the building. We, as owner occupiers, will then become our own tenants. And right now, the loan to value, so meaning the amount of money that we can get from the bank, the loan to value that we can get is quite low because the rents are very low in this building. There are people who have been living in there for 40 years and they're paying an extremely low rent. So we are taking over an existing mortgage with RBC for 1.1 million. We've already been told by a couple of different organizations that we would be able to get 1.6 fairly easily. But the RBC rate is so good, there's 2 years left on it at 2.34%. So we thought we would keep that for now, put cash into the deal. So that means with that 1.1 million, that means that we're looking at a buy-in from everyone of about $350,000. That $350,000 in essence gets your share, one of the doors, because we'll be each living in one of the units. And then some buffer money to pad up the account while we're getting everything stabilized. And of course, paying the legal fees and the closing costs, etc. So that's the situation that we're looking at now. With the low loan to value ratio, and with us only having that $1.1 million loan, we are going to be increasing the rents. So in essence, we're increasing our own rents. And as we rent it from ourselves, and then also supplement that with short-term or longer-term vacation rentals while we're traveling, that will help to push the rents up. And when we go to refinance in 2 years, we should be able to get a higher loan to value, and the property will have gone up in value as well. It could be worth, who knows, maybe $4 million by the time 2 years comes around. And then, of course, we'll be able to access more. Maybe we'll be able to get a loan to value of 2.6 million. So that gives us a lot more flexibility in what we can do. So when we refinance in a couple of years, we will pay ourselves back some of the capital we will have put in. And then we will, reassess where we are and continue hopefully on our merry way. Now, as a shareholder, if you wanted to leave the partnership, then you would be able to offer your share back to the group. And so if we wanted to purchase your share and get the group smaller, that's an option down the road. We are asking everybody to stay in for the first 5 years. But we know that things happen. And so there will be a shareholder agreement that will cover all of these things off. And as a shareholder, if you sell your share, you're not subject to property transfer tax, and because you're not selling the property, you're just selling the share. So all of these things will be explained at a much deeper level for the people who are coming in on the group. We're working through our corporate shareholder agreement with our lawyer, and then we'll work through the joint venture agreement, which kind of lays out how we're going to run the property and what kind of our own rules are in terms of how we are going to live on the property and maintain it and manage it. And yeah, there's lots more to get into. a couple of, key things to hold on to are upfront. This is not just a straight investment. It's a hybrid. So it's a great long-term investment, and it really works if you are an owner occupier, because where else are you going to be able to get into Victoria, into your own property for $450,000 right across from a beach in a great, solidly built, reasonably sized, wonderful home. It's really quite cool. So that's the number one thing. Number two, it's always going to go up in value over long term. Number three thing to consider, it is cash heavy at the front because we've got to put cash in or we've got to borrow private money, just because the low rents mean that we can't borrow a lot from the bank to start with. And number four, I guess, is you get to be neighbors with a group of people who are really keen about having a BFF mansion. So I think that kind of covers the basics off. Probably a good start, and then we can go with questions from there. We have all of the details. We have all of the rent rolls. I've done cash flow projections. I've done sales projections for Airbnb. I've done it very conservatively, and I've under performed on the revenue to keep it conservative, and I've overestimated the expenses to give us kind of a worst case scenario. We've got the RBC working on processing the loan. We've got our lawyers working on the shareholder agreement and then the other agreements. And we've got a lot of the money in place. We're just working on finding that last little bit to put us over the edge. So that's where we are. If you have any questions, you've probably got about, let's say, a week to get them into me. And then we'll be, making a decision on who that last person is. And then we'll be moving forward as a group. And just in terms of who's in right now. So right now, obviously me, I am moving into it actually as a tenant this week. So I will be there. So you can come and see my property. I'll be moving into a 2-bedroom on the weekend. Then there will be, following me will be Joan. Joan is selling her condo to move into the property. So she'll be coming in after we take possession and give notice to the first tenant. Then after that will be Steve and Catherine. They'll be spending half their time here and half time in Ontario. And so they will be coming in for their winter break. So we'll get their unit all ready for them for when they arrive in winter time. And Steve and Catherine, and then Carol and Cornell Dover are going to be eventually selling their property and downsizing and moving into the property. And Karenisa Ali and her husband, her fiance, future husband, Dave, will be setting it up as half-time for them to be here part-time in Vancouver and part-time in Victoria. Stefan will also be participating in one of the units, and we're just working out the capacity for that. And a couple of other people have expressed serious interest, so we're just trying to work out how that fits. And as I say, we've got room for one more person. So I hope that answers some of the basic questions. You'll find some pictures in the WREN Facebook page, the members page if you're a member. And we'll put some more posts in the next WREN newsletter. So make sure you are part of the newsletter. And if by chance you want to do a $500,000 private loan to the group, we're considering that as a buffer. And I'd love to talk to you about that too. So that's probably enough for today and probably stimulates lots of questions. So have a great day and enjoy this wonderful summer weather that we finally are seeing. And who knows, hopefully you will be my neighbor at the BFF Mansion. And there are more to come. This is the first one. Once we get this one done, that makes the rest easy. So the first one's always the hardest because you're setting up all the process. And then after that, it's just rinse and repeat. So we like the rinse and repeat part. Have a great day. Thanks a lot.